Hi and welcome to ABG's Investor Day. My name is Hanna Forsgren and I work as an equity research analyst in the renewable energy team and industrial team. With me today I am super happy to have Per Witalisson, CEO for Eolus Wind. The stage is yours.
Thank you for the introduction and thank you for having us here at your event. We're in the middle of a global energy crisis. Solutions are discussed and debated, and Eolus is committed to provide locally produced renewable electricity at affordable prices for consumers and the industry. So it's interesting time, definitely these days. So Eolus is a developer of renewable energy in the Nordic markets and beyond. We've been in business since 1990. We built more than 660 wind turbines since then, so more than 30 years of experience. We do asset management services. We have more than 900 megawatt in operation, which we operate on behalf of our customers. And we have signed contracts for another 600 megawatts that are now under construction. We are a developer, developing projects from greenfield, taking them through the permitting phase, procurement, optimization, and through construction. And we have a total development portfolio pipeline of 17 gigawatts. And we're investing heavily in people and projects to make this happen. Technology-wise, we obviously come from the onshore wind side, since that is the most mature technology. Lately, we've added solar projects, offshore wind projects, and energy storage projects. And that is because there is not one solution that can solve all problems. So we see we should develop the technology that is most needed for each market at the time when the facility is ready to be constructed. We also see a great need for combinations of these technologies. So our offshore wind portfolio is concentrated in Sweden and in the Baltic Sea. Our solar projects, the majority in terms of megawatt of our portfolio is in the southwestern US, where we have some really large projects. But also solar projects are being developed in Poland and in Sweden. So the portfolios are expanding rapidly there. We also see the need for energy storage in different kinds. Energy storage is a wide concept, but includes many different technologies depending on what problem you are trying to solve. The shorter period for frequency control, for load shifting, etc., the more battery solutions are used. And for longer duration storage, it can be for instance, hydrogen storage or pumped hydro storage. So we see the more renewable we have in the systems, the more combinations of techniques will be needed. So we're active in Sweden, where we have almost half of our project pipeline. We're active in the Nordic countries, in the Baltic states, and in southwestern US and in Poland. We've been in US since 2015. We're developing quite a large pipeline. We have more than 1/3 of our total portfolio in the US, and we have so far done 2 deals from that portfolio. One repowering of a wind farm in California, and also we sold an battery energy storage project under development. Poland is our most recent market, where we entered a year and a half ago. We have now built up a portfolio of mainly solar PV projects of several hundred megawatt, because that is what is where we have the quickest permitting processes, and where we can construct and connect them to the grid in the fastest way. But at the same time, we're building up a modern wind portfolio also in Poland. Our last financial report is the Q2 report, where we had a strong performance, I would say. We had 1.4 billion SEK as turnover and a net profit of 225 million SEK. Of the revenues, about 900 million SEK came from the sales of the Storsjöhöjden project, and about 500 million from the Norwegian Øyfjellet wind project. The portfolio grew with another 1.5 gigawatt during Q2, mainly due to that we added offshore wind projects, which obviously drives the volume of the portfolio a lot. We communicated during the quarter further delay on Øyfjellet, and on when we released the report, 71 out of the 72 turbines had begun generating electricity. In July, we also secured financing via credit facilities with the Swedbank and Svensk Exportkredit on 1.5 billion SEK. As I said, we are growing quite rapidly. We're investing in projects and in people, so we have extended the group management from 1st of September with 3 new members. Of course, the energy market is a really hot topic these days. The war in Ukraine is the main reason for the global energy crisis, with high and extremely volatile prices for fuels, gas, but also transferring into the electricity market. Besides that, we have an economy characterized by inflation. That, of course, means that we have to be more careful in the kind of deals we are doing, reducing risk-taking, and it can also affect, of course, the investors and their return expectations. We also see long lead times for permitting, for grid connections in many markets, and that is really a topic that has to be addressed by the renewable industry, by politicians and by grid operators. So we're not slowing down the much needed transition to a renewable energy system. The big event was the sale of the Storsjön project, which we sold to MEAG. We both signed and closed the transaction in the second quarter. Eolus owned 51% of the project, and we sold all of it for a purchase price of 18.4 million euro. Our partner Hydro, they remained with a 25% interest. So we've started construction. We will construct it together with Hydro. Commissioning is planned for autumn 2023, and we are having a construction management agreement with the investor, and remaining revenues that we estimate from that contract is 42 million euros, where Eolus part of that is 51%. We also acquired a larger stake in the Fageråsen project, the Swedish wind project, which has been developed together earlier on with the local developer Dala Wind. So we're very happy about that collaboration of where we can utilize their local skills and their local knowledge and our skills from developing, constructing and selling and operating. I mentioned the large Øyfjellet project. We are working intensely to finalize the construction, and 71 turbines are or have produced the first kilowatt hour so far. We have almost 800 megawatt under construction, and besides the Øyfjellet and Storsjön project, the main part is the cluster of Rosenskog, Tjärnäs, Gallberget, Utterberget, 117 megawatt, where we have started the construction process. Foundations are being constructed right now, and the sales process are ongoing, and we aim to close that deal during this year. To provide visibility, we communicate about our late-stage development projects. So this is more or less what you can expect from Eolus, or should expect in the near future, where we can make transactions and start construction. And as you see, there are a lot of Swedish wind projects to begin with, but the further down in the list we come, it's more international projects in Finland, Latvia, and more projects coming from the American pipeline, where I want to highlight the Centennial Flats project. It's a combined solar PV and battery energy storage project in Arizona with 500 megawatt solar PV and a battery component up to 250 megawatts. Probably one of the largest solar PV facilities in the world that we know of. I mentioned the large and growing portfolio, about half of it being onshore wind. We are constantly adding offshore projects. Of course, the offshore projects are in more early stage than the average of the onshore projects. Solar projects are constantly growing. We have more than 1/3 of our projects now in the US, and about 50% of them in Sweden. And at the bottom, you can also see the project portfolio split by technology and market and maturity. There is an increased focus on offshore wind. We've been working with that for a couple of years. So in our portfolio, we count the 4,500 megawatt being these Swedish offshore projects down here to Västvind, Arkona, Holland, Blekinge Offshore, and Najaderna. But we are also active around the Baltic Sea with projects in Poland, Finland, and the Baltics, where we have several early stage projects. Solar project is also growing rapidly. The largest part of our portfolio is in the US, where we have 1,600 megawatt under development. We do not have that many projects there, but compared to the European projects, they are really, really large ones. So in Poland and Sweden, we also have an additional 1,000 megawatt. And many of them, the Swedish projects, will be located in combinations with the wind projects that we have done over the years. I mentioned the financial Q2 report. Important to understand when you look at those figures are the net profit for the quarter of 225 million SEK, where only 103 million relates to the shareholders of Eolus, and the rest is relating to the minority, and that is due to that we only owned 51% of the Storsjönsjön projects. So we had earnings per share of 4 SEK, and equity per share of 38 SEK. Number of employees is rising. We're now at a headcount of 80 employees. And we have a good net cash position and an equity to asset ratio of 54%. So a very good and stable financial position to take on all the challenges and opportunities. We recognize revenues according to the degree on completion for construction projects and for projects where we have an investor, of course. So for the coming quarters, as soon as we sell these projects, Rosenskog, Skallberget, Utterberg, Tjärnäs, the degree of completion revenue recognition will start. We also received final permits for two projects of about 130 megawatt in Sweden. So we're doing procurement now for those projects and securing the grid connection agreements, and will then start the sales process and the construction process as soon as possible. Public consultations were held for the offshore projects Najaderna outside of Gävle and Blekinge Offshore in the southeast of Sweden. And we expanded the management team with Magnus Axelsson as new COO, joining the company from 1st of September, and also with Mick Messing, head of delivery and construction, and Helene Sebrén, head of HR. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Per. So I have a few questions. How are the current sales process going?
There is a lot of interest for acquiring renewable projects, and I would say that there are 10 potential investors for every project that we can get through permitting and take to the sales process.
What is the biggest focus area for you the coming year?
It is to move projects through the development pipeline. That is the projects are the heart and the engine of the company. That is always a struggle and a challenge. So to have a constant and growing flow of projects. One of our financial targets is to sell 1,000 megawatt per year on average up until 2024, and then to increase it further after that. So we have to pay a lot of attention to the project pipeline.
Öjefjället, how are the completion going?
We have, as I said, 71 out of 72 turbines have now produced the first kilowatt hour, and of course we are working intensely to finalize the project.
Long term, do you expect any geographies to be more or less interesting?
Yes, we are evaluating new markets to enter into. What we look at is markets that are highly dependent on coal-based production with a large need for transformation. Countries with a low level of self-supply, and of course political stable countries.
In 5 years, how will the portfolio be divided?
There will be an increase of offshore projects. It takes definitely longer time to develop and to construct offshore project, but as cost of energy, that is cost per megawatt hour, decreases for offshore projects, they will be more and more attractive. We will see a lot of more combinations of facilities to make sure that these renewable assets produce and supply power whenever needed.
How do you find new projects?
We do a lot of screening, and we also team up with partners, for instance with large landowners, like for instance SCA and Sveaskog in Sweden, and there companies like that also in other countries.
Thank you very much, Per.
Thank you.
Thank you.